Good day, everyone. My name is Angelyn Belardo and I am with my partner, Miss Abegail Balilo, and we're going to report about existentialism. I know this topic is no longer new to you since this is already taught to us during the first semester, so this report is like refreshing your knowledge about this philosophy of education. So, what is existentialism? Existentialism is a philosophical theory or approach which emphasizes the own existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent determining their own development through acts of the will. From the word exist in the existentialism, it focuses on the purpose or importance of your existence in this world. And you're a person with freedom of choice, you're free to do what you want and who you want it to be. But even though you have that kind of freedom, you are responsible for the consequences that you make, which is the result of your choice. And if you're responsible enough to face what you've done, you can see your development as a person. Every individual is unique. Existentialist believes that every individual has their own identity, quality, and ability that makes them different and unique from other person. Also, individuals have to take responsibility for their own actions and shape their own destinies. Just like what I've said, every action requires responsibility because you're the one who did that. Your action will not just affect you, but also other people because you're coexisting with them. And everything that you're doing right now can affect or influence your future, so be mindful enough. Existentialists believe that society should not restrict an individual's life or actions and that these restrictions inhibit free will and development of that person's potential. In short, everyone deserves freedom of choice because if you have that freedom, you'll be able to grow as a person. You'll be able to choose what you want and discover your potential or purpose as a person while existing in this world. And now, here are the philosophers or the proponents of existentialism. Soren Kierkegaard. He is the father of existentialism. For him, human existence is always individual in character, never social. A person stands by his own, he works by his own, because he owns himself, and he knows more about his existence. By that, man functions, grows, develops, makes choices, suffers, experiences intense feelings, and faces God as an individual. And I know everyone or some of us can relate to this. There are times that we do everything alone without asking company from others. We make choices by our own. And when we're having a hard time, there are people who choose to keep those feelings by themselves. We suffer alone, we fight alone, and we succeed from the battles alone. Also for him, life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Yes, our life has a lot of problems on it, but it doesn't mean our whole existence is a problem. For existentialists, our life is something that we should experience. Problems are meant to be experienced. Because in life, problems and failures, happiness and success coexist. We are born to deal with those because it's part of our existence. The next one is Jean-Paul Sartre. For him, existence precedes essence. In other words, our existence, our birth, happens first. Then it's up to us to determine who we are. We have to write our own essence through the way we live. Also, essence is created by existence. Just like what I've said, when your mother gave birth to you, your purpose or essence in life is still not known, or it's still not yet there. But you can only know your purpose of your existence by living in this world and through experience. Your experience gives you lessons in life that influence the way you think and act. And by that, you'll also realize the real purpose why you are existing. Well, I think everyone has a purpose in life. You just have to discover it by yourself. Next, man is condemned to be free. Sartre faced meaninglessness head-on and explored one of the most agonizing aspects of existentialism. Not the world's lack of meaning, but its terrifying abundance of freedom. To most of us, freedom sounds pretty great, but Sartre thought we are painfully free. After all, if there's no guidelines for our actions, then each of us is forced to design our own moral code, to invent a morality to live by. A fate that he found to be quite awful. You might think that there is some authority you could look for answers, but for Sartre, all of those authorities you can think of are fake. Why? Because you can do what your parents say, or church or government, but those authorities are really just people like you. People who don't know the answers. People who also look or figure out what's their purpose in life. Next is the destiny of man is placed within himself. Again, this means man is an agent responsible for making choices by his own. We are free. We have the freedom to do what we want and be who we wanted to be. Because we're the one shaping our future. Because if you just depend on other people's decision for you, then they're the one shaping your future. And it's not your own choice after all. To summarize the meaning of this philosophy, the existentialism, human persons do not possess the essence. They make choices that create their own nature. It's your life. Know your purpose. Make your existence meaningful. Choice is vital and inevitable to human existence. Even the refusal to choose is a choice. This means we are born to make choices. In our everyday life, deciding for something is always there. Also, choice or decision makes one responsible for the effects of his choice, not only to himself but also to others. Since his choice also affects other people. Again, remind yourself that you are coexisting with other humans. Every action that you've made can also affect them. Based from what I've just discussed, existentialism deals with the concreteness of experiences. Experiences that give you lessons or know your purpose in life. Second is the personal concern. This happens during the time wherein you're reflecting in life, when you start questioning the meaning of your existence. Personal concerns can be in a form of anxiety, depression, loneliness, or happiness due to major life events like career, death of loved one, adulthood, experiencing traumatic experience, marriage, or having children, or even in academics. Next is commitment. Commitment in existentialism means more than dedication or a promise to care. It means willingness to live fully, to make life meaningful through acceptance of all it may hold of both joy and sorrow. Lastly is the uniqueness of the individual. Every individual is unique, not just on face form but on talents, skills, intelligence, coping and thriving mechanism, habits, practices, personal struggles, attitudes, personal style, or in any aspect. Now, let's go to the values of existentialism. As you can see, existentialists emphasize individual existence and its freedom of choice, individual dignity, personal love, and creative effort. Individuals are entirely free and must take personal responsibility for themselves. It also stresses human self-worth. Your personal love and creative effort are being valued, appreciated, and important. Factors affecting freedom of choice or things that influence your decisions in life. Number 1 is the influence of the family, especially the parents. We're living in the same roof as them, so it's highly possible that they can affect our choices in life. Sometimes they will let us decide for our own, but also there's instances wherein they control our decisions, or they push us to do what they think is right for us. Second is the influence of peers and associations. More likely, they're the one who play the role of influencing our habits, vices, attitudes, whether it's good or bad for you. Next is religious orientation. There are ideologies or teaching in religion that influence someone's view or belief in life, especially knowing or doing what's morally good and preventing one's self in committing sins. Next is social approval. One of the things that really affects our choices in life is the approval of others. We are living in the world depending on society's standards. We tend to care for other people's judgments or opinions about us. Feels like every action requires validation from other people. It shouldn't be like that. You own yourself. You're the leader of your own life. So do what you want to do as long as you know it's right. The fifth one is the cultural pattern. These are the shared beliefs, values, norms, and social practices that exist within a community or social group, like the law, dress, or religion's beliefs. One example of cultural pattern that affects our choices on the way we act is the law. The do's and don'ts. For example, you want to kill someone because of a personal reason, but you can't do it because you know it is stated in the law that it is bad. You'll be priced if you do that. Next is financial status. For example, you want to buy something that you really want to have, but you can't because you can't afford it. You're broke, so you'll end up not getting that thing. But if you're wealthy, you can buy anything you want. You can go wherever you want, based on your choices in life. Next is psychological traits, especially intelligence. The way you think or the level of intelligence can also affect your choices in life. For example, in exams, determining what is right and wrong, multiple choices, and answering right answers. The next one is sex. What I mean here is a set of biological attributes in human. When one considers sex differences or the differences between male and female, one must also remember that females and males inhabit different cultures and that some behavioral sex differences are marked when people are in social groups than they were alone. Like in male, some of them choose to stay quiet even though they are surrounded by loud people. Based from my observation, male doesn't really usually show emotion or talk about their feelings, not like some females or most of females that are very vocal about their emotions. Now let's talk about health and physical fitness. Of course, those who are healthy and physically fit have more privileges to do what they want. But those who are not healthy or physically fit, their actions are limited. The last one is education. Education can help enhance an individual's decision making or ability, rationality, or rational choices. However, there are evidences that people tend to make systematic errors in judgment and decision making. Let's say, for example, the politicians. Yes, they are educated person, but sometimes they commit mistakes that affects the general public or the country. It can be because of negligence. Existentialism on metaphysics. When we say metaphysics, it deals or it concerns existence and the nature of things that exist. So here in existentialism, reality is subjective, meaning something is depending on the mind or a matter of perspectives that one can fathom, perceive, or experience what is believed to be real. For example, the existence of God. If we based it on objectivity or science, it's not real. But in subjective reality, He exists because of our faith. Reality is subjective, with existence preceding essence. Existence creates essence. We are the one who give essence to our existence. Life is absurd, but we give meaning to it. Next is existence on epistemology, or the study of knowledge. Here, knowing something means making personal choices, or to choose or apply what I want or you want to know. As you start questioning the essence of your existence and start making choices, that's the time wherein you put your choices into action. In every action, it requires responsibility. It can be in a form of experience that will give you the answer to your question, what's my purpose in life? The third one is existentialism on axiology, or the study of nature of value or goodness. In existentialism, it values humans' existence and freedom of choice. And the last one is educational implication, wherein classroom dialogues stimulate awareness that each person creates self-concept through significant choices. When we say self-concept, it is a mental picture of you as a person, your perception, behavior, abilities, and unique characteristics. In education, you can observe this in the performance of the student, or if they choose to be negligent, they'll be a failure. But if a student chooses to pursue or to perform well in academics, he or she can experience success in school. For the next part of this report, here is Miss Abegail Balilo to give you more information about existentialism in education.
So now we proceed to the aims of education under the existentialist philosophy. So the main aim is to realize the inner truth. Inner truth is a point of view that you know that you really need. It is a point of view that holds the deepest expression of yourself. And the existentialist curriculum will help you to realize who you really are and to express what you really are. The second is to help students understand and appreciate themselves as unique individuals who accept complete responsibility for their thoughts, feelings, and actions. Sometimes we tend to compare ourselves to others and thinking about the things that other people have that we don't. But existentialism will help students to appreciate themselves as unique individuals, which I think is very important because we need not to pretend to be other people. We just need to love ourselves and appreciate ourselves as who we are and what we are, and live our lives to its fullest. Existentialism also aims to educate the whole person, not just the mind, since feeling is not divorced from reason in decision making. So this one is also an important aim because sometimes when we make our decisions in life, it's not just in the mind. We also take into consideration our feelings. So that's also one of the aims of the existentialist education. And last is to help the learner become fully his authentic self. This is similar to the second aim, which I have explained a while ago. In an existentialist curriculum, learning is self-paced and self-directed. It is also child-centered. And here, the humanities are given emphasis to provide students with various experiences that will help unleash their own creativity and self-expression. So, the existentialist curriculum will help the students to be more creative and to express themselves in a unique way in which they do not need to copy others, but they will develop on their own. So, existentialist curriculum is composed of fine arts, drama, creative expression, literature, and philosophy. And also, vocational education is seen more as a means of teaching students about themselves and their potentials than that of earning a livelihood. So this means that students who are enrolled in the vocational education are being taught to unleash their potentials and develop their skills to know what their capabilities are rather than use that education to earn a livelihood. So we now proceed to the methods of teaching. In an existentialist approach, the focus is on the individual. In arts, existentialism encourages individual creativity and imagination more than copying and imitating established models. Here, creativity is used as an expression of oneself. Um, Arts have different functions, and one of that is to express oneself. So, existentialism teaches the students to be more creative and use their imagination and be free to whatever they want to do. Like, for example, they are asked to do a poster or anything. They can use their imagination to do their outputs. The teacher here in arts can give the students the liberty to choose what form of art they wanted to do. For example, they can dance, they can do visual arts or film, whatever. The students can choose whatever art form they wanted to do, as long as it is an original and they did not copy others' works or like that. In teaching values, teachers employ values clarification strategy to help students know themselves and their place in society. Here, teachers remain non-judgmental and take care not to impose their values on their students, since values are personal. Through values clarification strategy, the learners will be able to practice sound moral reasoning skills, choose the appropriate response for a value conflict, and commit themselves to personal, moral, and societal values. So this values clarification strategy will enable the learners to be aware of the values that they have in life, and this will help them to know which values guides them in their decision making and in their reasoning. Also, values education is a matter of choice that goes throughout existence. And there should be private and open spaces in the classroom to facilitate dialogues, small group discussions, and individualization to lessen the tension, formality, and constraint experienced by the learners. By doing this or by having this, students can be able to focus on themselves and to reflect on their self-growth like that. The role of the teachers in existentialism is first to help students define their own essence by exposing them to various paths they may take in life. Since existentialism focuses on one's individuality, the teacher will have this role of helping them to define their own essence by they could expose them to different paths. For example, they can share what a teacher do, what a doctor do, or a policeman, or a nurse, or a psychologist, something like that. When teachers share things like this, the students will be able to self-reflect, and some can probably say, I want to be like that, and I possess some skills that is related to that profession, so I can probably try that. Or like that profession awakens a part of me and it took my heart, so I want to do that. So the teachers will just expose them to those different professions, but they won't tell them to, like, Mark, you need to be a policeman, Nico, you need to be a lawyer, like that. Teachers shouldn't do that. They can never do that. That's prohibited. To create an environment in which they freely choose their own preferred way. Existentialism emphasizes individuals' responsibility in every decision that they make. To train them in making such decisions, the teacher should create an environment where the students will feel that they are free and they can do whatever they want. But of course, along with freedom is responsibility. Like, for example, as I've mentioned a while ago, in arts, a teacher could provide them choices of what they can do. Also, in literature, they can choose whatever literary form they wanted. It could be a poem or short story, whatever. It's up to them. Because existentialism is about choice. And the teachers must let the students have the freedom to choose, because the essence of existentialism would be a waste if the students won't feel free. If the environment is too strict and they feel suffocated and as if they were chained, if there's too much tension in the environment, then it means they aren't free. So let them do things on their own and you just see how they learn. To assist and guide the learner in the process of becoming intelligent, sensitive, choosing and acting individual who knows the obligation and responsibility of freedom. I have already said that along with freedom is responsibility. Yes, we are free to do the things that we want, but along with it are tons of responsibility. We are held responsible of every action and every decision that we make. So, the teachers must help the students to be aware and to know these responsibilities and make them realize and self-reflect before doing any action. Like, the students must think first before doing any movement. They must ask themselves first, if I do this, what will be the result? Who will be affected? Will I benefit from it? And such questions. And for this to happen, the teacher must assist and guide the students. And if they were well taught and learned about this in school, then they could bring it to their adulthood and they will grow as responsible individuals. Next is to help the individual identify and know himself better. To know yourself is to be yourself. Knowing oneself isn't just about being aware of what you like and what you do not. It is actually the act of understanding your authentic self, your thoughts, desires, and emotions. This is very vital because I believe that you can be a stranger to others, but you can never be a stranger to yourself. So you must know yourself. If you know yourself well, then you will be independent and confident of your choices. You won't be easily influenced by others' opinion, but rather you will stay on your stand. You won't need any validation from others because you know already what exactly you need to do. Teachers will play a big role in helping the students to achieve this. The last one is to create an environment that the child can be aware of his inner self. This is connected to what I've been saying a while ago. The teacher must create an environment that the child can be aware of who he really is, his emotions, his thoughts, and everything that he must know about himself. An environment where the students can freely and openly express themselves. We come to the last part, which is the role of learners. The first role of the learners is to freely choose what subjects they want to study as long as they are interested in it. In senior high school, the students can freely choose what strand and what track they wanted to enroll in. Like, for example, the student can choose UMS, the student can choose STEM, and ABM, or even in the tech voc, they have the freedom to choose whatever they want. The teachers won't have a say on what track they want to study. It's all on the learners, since it is their choice to make. Just like in college, we students chose what course we wanted to enroll in and what profession we want to take in the future, our career. We choose that. Nobody is allowed to tell you what you should be, because you are a free individual. You are responsible for yourself, and you aren't responsible for other people, and other people are not responsible of you. Take note of that. Second is determine their own values and identity. Since you are a unique individual, you must know your own values and identity. Your values won't have to be the same as others. Let them believe in what they wanted to believe in, and you believe in what you want to believe in. Okay? So you must also know your own identity. Knowing your identity is like knowing your authentic self again. Your identity is who you are. You do not need to pretend to be somebody you are not. Just be yourself and live your life to its fullest. Because pretending to be someone else won't lead you to happiness. You would just fool yourself, but you know you can never fool yourself. There is nothing wrong with you. You are unique, you are beautiful, and you are loved just the way you are. And I think you should know that. So go out. Do not be scared and show them who you really are. Let your identity be known. And of course, throughout all of this, you must be able to define your own essence and meaning of life. You find your purpose, and you live your life the way you want. And that is all for Existentialism. I hope that you learned something today. Let me end this presentation with a quotation from John C. Maxwell. Life is a matter of choices, and every choice you make makes you. Thank you so much, and have a good day.